We on?
We're live. You guys
We're going to do the thing. Welcome to the Blue Wall Podcast. Let's do our 18 and over. You know, if you're not 18 and over, you got to turn the station or look at something different for the next hour and a half. But if you are over 18, you can stay tuned, ask questions on Facebook and or Twitter and or straight on Ustream.
Yes, we have. Yes, and I'm going to share this right now. Bam. Our guest here tonight is Mr. Ryan Minney.
How you doing?
And that's it.
What's Mr. Ryan Minney? What's Mr. Ryan Minney do?
Ryan Minney. That's it.
That's all we had to say.
That's all.
Ryan Minney is head trainer and you got to use left hand maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
Head trainer and owner of Primal Training Studios, right?
Yep.
Right there. What is this? Crush,
that
Kill, Destroy.
What you got there is a Crush, Kill, Destroy. It's the new clothing line we started, just for palling around and being awesome.
And this is very comfortable.
What's the significance of the?
The letter is, we worked on that forever. That isn't a ruse. It is the second letter in one of the original alphabets, going back to Sanskrit. And it basically it literally translates to an auroch, which are these giant bulls.
Yeah.
They're extinct now. Imagine like a horse if it was a bull.
Bull, yeah.
And they were just huge, and like killing them was like a huge deal because they're big and strong.
Yeah.
And awesome. And so
I assume you're killing them with like a sword or, I mean, something primitive, right? You're not like dropping a boulder on their head or nothing from a cliff.
No, it's probably a spear or something like that.
Yeah.
But over time, it's just kind of turned into a symbol for like strength and like virility and fertility and like healing. It's just kind of everything we're all about, so it makes sense.
Right. We have to. We're gonna shout out a couple things real quick of what's coming up. I think I threw my thing all the way over there. Here it is. First, we have on May. What is the date? 18th. Where's this? See how professional we are, Ryan.
This is amazing.
We are so professional. Grab this.
This is probably the best podcast you've ever seen.
Yes.
If you've never seen another podcast.
This would be.
Well, then we're the best you've ever seen.
I've never been on a better podcast in my entire life.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that we got that.
Okay, I don't even.
I'm going to quote you. We're going to quote you on that for our advertisements.
Testimonial right there.
Yeah.
All right, May 18th. I'm going to just say that. May 19th. It's May 19th. The Cystic Fibrosis Walk at Yoctangi Park in Chillicothe, Ohio. From 1 to 4 p.m. Our friend Jamie Jackson, her friend Stacy her cousin Stacy died of cystic fibrosis in 2008, and she does a fundraising thing every year for the foundation called Strides for Stacy, and that's going to be the last thing. If you didn't make it to any of the other ones, you missed out, and if you thought you were going to watch it on our podcast, if you weren't live, that shit didn't happen. So, sorry about your luck. That was the unlucky number 13 podcast.
Yeah.
So we just left it out. We skipped it. We skipped 13, said screw it.
They're all fairly unlucky, though, just to be clear.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And then if you want to go, you can donate anytime. You can go to cff.org/great_strides /Stacy's girl. Stacy was the Jamie's cousin that passed away, and like 90% of all money raised for cystic fibrosis goes to research, treatments, and patients
Through this group.
Yeah, well, they get no federal funding whatsoever for that for cystic fibrosis. So through the Strides for Stacy or whatever, that's the team name. I don't know. Is that all we got coming up?
It might be.
I think so. Did you go to the Sugar Shack thing?
No, I did not.
I didn't go either.
I wanted to go. We just recently, my wife just had a daughter. I was part of it too, I guess. Me and my wife just had a daughter like 5 weeks ago. So we're somewhere in that week range. So we've been staying home a lot with the baby. So we don't get to go
This your
out.
first baby?
Yes, first baby.
All right, congratulations.
You got a night sleeping baby or up all
We-
night or?
In the beginning, she was a psychological terrorist. And
Yeah.
She woke us up every 2 hours for, I think, some sort of like brainwashing, mind control technique.
Oh yeah.
But now she's sleeping like 6 hours at a time. So
Nice.
She's getting a pattern.
yes, I'm a lot less irritable than I was 2 weeks ago.
Babies are
I'd
smart. You
say.
got to break them down, break the parents down early. You know.
Oh, there's like, with me, don't mess with my food, don't mess with my sleep, or I get very irritable.
Yeah,
And
I
like
know.
I couldn't imagine like in the middle of the night crying. You have to get up like, oh,
Why
I
are
have
you
to
crying?
do this. Yes. What's the matter? It's peaceful and dark.
It's definitely an adjustment. It's crazy. I mean, like you said, it's peaceful and dark, and then they're just up to this point in my life. Whenever they're screaming at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's because like something of like apocalyptic proportions is happening, and it's just like pooping a diaper.
Yeah.
So, but, you know.
Right.
Yeah, it's got to be uncomfortable to sleep in, unless you're
Like, come
yeah.
on.
unless you're passed out drunk. I've seen a couple people sleeping shit when they're passed out drunk. So
Right. What kind of? Do you have any events coming up?
We
You could
got
shout out.
this weekend. I will be in Xenia at the. I'm not competing. I'm going to be there helping run the event this weekend in Xenia. It's called the Outback Bowl. It's my buddy puts it on there as a strongman meet. If you go to the NAS webpage, just type in North American Strongman Association, you'll be able to find it. But it's this weekend. It should pretty good time. It's put on by a guy named Ori Barnett. He always puts on a good show.
And it's a strongman competition.
Yes, it's strongman contest.
What are the events in this one?
These events are not very typical. Ori always does a really good job at making up crazy stuff. This one, they're going to have, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, they're going to have one-handed Viking press, which is typically, did you guys watch like World's Strongest Man this year at all? Some people
I
watch
did
on
not.
TV.
I don't think I did either.
So-
I don't know.
Basically, the Viking press, it's an overhead press, but it's on a pivot. So you're pressing, and it goes back, so it's like a lever.
yeah,
And like this year, they had 4-wheelers, I think, on it, and they were pressing the 4-wheelers for reps. It was part of the
with one arm.
the 2 arms.
Okay.
But he's doing like a 1-arm Viking press on this big long pole with like.
Does it
weights
matter
on
which arm?
No, you can use any arm you
Nice.
want. You pick your favorite arm, your best arm, I would say, or the one that hurts the less, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But so they're doing that, and then they're doing this thing I've never seen before. They're taking a wire spool, and they have a rope hook to it, and they're pulling it up a flight of stairs for like time. I've never seen that before. So, and then there'll probably be some Atlas stones there and all that kind of stuff. But it should be interesting. Ori shows are always interesting, to say the least.
So it probably won't roll very well. If it were, well, I don't know how they're gonna do it. If a rope's tied around the middle of the spool, it's gonna you're just gonna have to drag it.
I have no idea. This is something that Ori has created specially. For
Has he
this
tried it himself already, or is he just like?
He's just like,
He's just-
sounds
I'm not-
good.
I'm not doing that.
Let's do
Looks
that.
good on paper.
Yeah, I've
what-
seen YouTube videos of it happening, of some of him guys practicing it. Usually, whenever he makes something up, he'll like put a YouTube video up of it. So I've seen the YouTube video of it. So if you go to God, what's his YouTube channel? I think it's like the Christian Strength Crew or something like that. If you go to his YouTube video, there's a YouTube thing of it.
Well, I'm sure if they look up his name, it'll probably pop up too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can never find anything on YouTube.
What's his name?
Ori Barnett.
Oh, how do you spell it?
ORIEBARNET,
Yeah.
I believe, and it's the
Probably-
Xenia Outback Bowl. So, but that's where I'll be this weekend. So it should be fun. It's always good to see all my friends and hang out. It's a good time.
Is there an event that the Vikings that came from the Vikings,
Uh,
like a run type
like a
of raid?
run, a Viking run raid. Raid and conquer. I don't know. Maybe if there was like
Pillage.
like across the street, there's like an all-you-can-eat buffet, and we just got to charge that thing. I don't know. But I don't know. Usually,
Something on the beach. What? We were talking to Katie about it when she was on, and she was like, she said she better let you tell about
I
it.
know, because she told me she's talking about the Husafell stones.
Yes, yes.
The Husafell stones are. The problem is some of our stuff is relatively new and just made up like in the last 20 years. The first World's Strongest Man was actually filmed at Walt Disney World. So
Was
yeah, you look it up on YouTube. It's crazy. They were like throwing tires and all kinds of stuff, but it just kind of got rolling from there. But strongman as a sport is we take influences from all over. Like a lot of our stone events are also derivatives of the Highland Games, which were things they did in the Highlands and northern parts of Europe, where they would use them for usually it was like for tests for like a royal guard. Like if you're a king and you've got a whole bunch of soldiers and you want to know who's protect you, you put on these games where everyone's like carrying rocks and throwing sticks and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And whoever can do it the best is obviously the most badass, and they could protect you. But
He's the strongest.
the most what Katie was talking about is the Husafell stone. It's named after Husafell, Iceland, because I think it was 5 to 10 years ago, the world's strongest man was in Iceland. And whenever they have world's strongest man, they always try to bring something local that in that area. And stone carrying comes from that part of the world. And they had this big, giant 400-pound stone that went back to this guy. His name was Pastor Story. He was a monk, and they had this big goat pin, and it was basically I think it was like 25 meters around, and it was all made out of all stone, and the pin slab was a 400-pound rock that was kind of shaped like a diamond, and so if you wanted to let the goats out, you had to pick up the 400-pound rock and move it. So these were some pretty serious
Seems
monks.
very inefficient, but hey, you know.
They're very serious monks. Apparently, these were like the meditating karate monks. They were like the rock smashing, awesome guys.
Oh, you want to come steal our sheep? Okay.
You had to know what was going on to take these guys' goats. But anyways,
Really?
And so something that they would do for fun and training and exercise was it was a contest, and it was you would pick up the stone. And you would have to carry the stone around the entire outside of the goat pen, and then you were considered. If you go all the way around with the actual pin slab, you were considered full sturker, which loosely translates to full strength. And then they had a 210-pound stone, and this has all been kilograms and transferred over and all that. So it's around 200, 210. If you could carry that one, you were considered half sturker, which translates to half strength.
Yeah.
So you got your full strength monks, and you got your half strength monks, and you got everyone in the middle trying to be awesome. And so you're trying to figure out where this comes from. And so we have a lot of stone culture here in Ohio because of Steve Slater. He makes the greatest Atlas stones and Husafell stones that are made out of concrete, probably in the world. The stones used at World's Strongest Man are almost always Slater stones. The stones used at Arnold this year, the Manhood stones, Steve makes those stones. So they all come from that. So I just really am into the culture of the stones, and so I started doing a lot of digging, and it's lots and lots and lots and lots. And this is all kind of speculative because it's almost kind of prehistory. But what I found that makes the most sense was that the Navy, it was like the Viking Navy, I don't know, whatever. In order, the carrying rocks was how you got a pay grade. So if you live like that, seriously.
Well, if you can carry more weight, you can carry more gold and loot. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it's like sailor. At first, I thought it was like a military thing, but it's like sailors, everyone. It's crazy. So if you can't carry a 100-pound stone, 50 meters, you're considered sickly, and you're like just like a crappy man, and just like practice or I don't know, eat your Wheaties or whatever they had, or haggis or whatever the crap they were eating. But like, if you couldn't do that, you needed to get on your A game because it was embarrassing. So and then they had but if you could carry a 100-pound stone, 50 meters, then you were officially cleared that you could go in a boat, and you could be like a sailor or a fisherman, even like a fisherman, like I'd be able to do this. Then when it started getting into the more serious vessels that had pay grades and stuff like that, if you could carry a 200-pound stone, 50 meters, then you got the first pay grade on the boat. And so you got paid a little bit more money, and you got a little bit more respect. If you could carry a 400-pound stone 50 meters, then you got the highest pay grade that you could get without being an officer, and you got to go below deck and row the boat. So,
wow, man, that kind of sucks.
That's a privilege to row the boat.
It sounds like it sucks, but at the end of the day, I mean, you're out in the middle of the ocean, you're getting pounded with waves and all that crap. So, yeah, rowing is kind of exhausting, but you're not up there just getting beat to death with the sun in the ocean.
I guess so, right?
So it's a little better, but so I'm thinking like doing research on boats. I'm like, why are they carrying rocks? So I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And then you start thinking about the boats back then, the ballasts were made out of stone.
Yeah. How about anchors? They probably made some type of anchor out of a big stone, too.
All of the above. But more importantly, like the ballast, they would run down the center of the boat, and that's what kept the boat from flipping over. So if you've got a boat full of pansies that can't carry like a 100-pound stone, and a big wave comes and the ballast shifts, and no one can move the ballast back to where it needs to be, then the boat flips over and everyone dies.
Yeah.
So the best interpretation that I can find is they put a premium on this because if something bad would happen, you can put the ballast back and everyone's sails home and has a wonderful day and they'll have food. So my best guess was Pastor Story must have been involved in like the Navy somehow, and so he just kind of once he got out of the military and became a monk, he just made all his buddies do that for fun, and they just had a good time doing it. So, so that's the unofficial history of the Husafell Stone. Or I could be completely wrong. There's probably someone. If
Somebody's out there listening,
right
like,
now.
oh, what? No, oh.
Wrong. I'm from Iceland. I'm sure there's some Google troll right now, like, no, that is not right.
Yeah.
You're wrong. But that's what makes sense from all the reading I did.
My story was, what was it? They landed on the beach, and they were arguing over. Oh, what did I say? They're arguing over something. They decided whoever can carry the stone up, some stone up to the top of this hill and back down to the beach the fastest gets. What the hell was the? Can't remember what I was thinking. That was my made-up story. It just popped in my head.
That was a horrible story.
It was. Well, I told it on the last one.
You
So
always have to end a story like that with, and then I found $100.
yeah.
Brings the story right around.
Right. Then I found a diamond.
There you go.
Screw $100.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of, it's the sport really goes back, and it's just, it's a lot of it is based in tradition, and some of it's recently made up depending on what's going on.
How far back does it date?
Consider it's like picking up logs and pressing rocks. Probably back as far as dudes have been trying to pick up chicks. I'm guessing. I mean.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously it has to go back to. I mean, you look at like the natural order thing, and when everything's scary, the biggest, stronger male usually wins. It's always on the Nature Channel. But and then you go back to. I mean, looking at like royal for like a military effect and stuff like that. So I mean, you looking like the Highland Games where they're like throwing capers and stone throws for distance and that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day,
What's a caper? Is that the big long poles?
Yeah, it's like a big long tree
post. Yeah.
Oh, and they grab it. Like,
yeah, it's got to go end over end or something like that.
So.
Or the top end has to hit, and then it falls over.
I have no idea what the.
I think it has to go end over end, or it
like
doesn't
yeah,
count.
like you flip it and then boom, and then it has
Yeah.
to flip that
Yeah.
way or something. Right.
I don't know. I know of the Highland Games. I really don't mess with it a lot just because I'm not a very big guy, and typically good throws are larger, so I just don't spend a lot of time. It's neat, and I watch it, but I don't have any idea. It's just guys throwing around. It's cool though. It's all fun. It's all weightlifting.
Right. I think there's cardio involved too because you're doing things for a certain amount of time and reps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. So what kind of things would you do for cardio? Is it just the basic lifts that you do? You get your cardio for that from it?
Like training the cardio for a meet? Or
Yeah. Do you isolate your cardio sometimes? I know you're gonna get it. Like the best way to do something is do what you're gonna do to train somewhat.
Especially in the strength world, it's kind of like math. There's a lot of different ways to get numbers that add up to 4. So you've got some people who are just super hardcore and they just go like anabolic and they're like vomiting tired all the time. I'm more of a science guy, so I'm a big fan of basically the farther up your 1RM goes, the more reps you have. A good way that people can think about it is the bench press test for the NFL Combine. You got that, so all of a sudden, all these dudes just started doing 40 reps, and they were like it was literally out of nowhere, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's drugs! Everyone's on steroids! Everyone's on drugs!" It's like everyone's not on drugs. What happened was the athletic training community figured out that how to work powerlifting, bench press into an athletic training program. So what they found is that if you get someone's bench press up to like 500 pounds, that they can go all day with 225.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like that. So what we do, we continuously work on pressing that 1RM up, and then usually when we're about 4 to 6 weeks out from a contest, then we'll change from that strength mode, and we'll start changing into a conditioning mode, where we turn into more of a density-based model where it's all reps and more reps, and it's just kind of so you build it in that way. Being an athlete before of other types before I was a strongman. I'm a really big fan of using the sport to condition and not like I don't know, like you're going to get ready for a log press by running around the block 50,000 times.
Right,
To
right.
me, that doesn't make any sense. So I'd rather what we do is we more find a way to condition a log because usually, like log press for reps, you're usually going to be looking at 60 to 75 seconds that you have to just continuously be pressing. Depending on the level of the contest and the weight of the log, you're going to see anywhere from typically what you want to see, what Mass wants to see, you want to see a weight heavy enough that you're looking at like somewhere between like 3 and 5 reps and like in like a minute and a half, and like a couple people bomb out because that's just the way it has to be. Someone has to lose, but
So you're giving it all you got, and then you're
Yeah.
setting it down for a second, like recuperate,
yep.
and then give it again. All right.
So yeah, so you kind of have you have that going on, and some of them are really light, and either you'll see everyone's like going over like 8 reps, or you'll see a situation where you just have like I had the joy of there's a guy in our sport named Carlos Reyes, and he was a teen, and he was really good as a teen. He trains up in Connecticut. He worked with Derek Poundstone and a whole bunch of awesome guys, but I was at the meet when he won team nationals. And he showed up, and I think he got like 19 reps on like 200-pound log cleaning class. Like the next year, he went pro. Like as soon as he turned 20, he went pro. So every now and then, you're going to see your ringers like that who are just really prepared, and they've been preparing for 10 years, and they're set up and they're ready to go pro. And so every now and then, you'll see like a ringer like that who will just come in and just it's amazing to watch.
So what when you go pro, are you getting paid? Or you're competing for money, or what is pro?
It's in the sport of strongman, I guess it depends on how far. Before this, I raced professional downhill mountain bikes, so I guess it's like that. I was a pro downhill mountain bike racer, and I got paid in stuff.
Yeah.
I had
Products.
Yeah, I had sponsors, and they gave me bikes, and they gave me helmets, and so I had $1,000 worth of stuff to represent people. Strongman's kind of the same way. You get into it in the beginning when you're an am, and you're just paying for everything. It's a hobby and it's a sport, and you're doing it, and you're floating your own bill. As you get better, you start picking up sponsors. The ultimate is usually once you get up to like World's Strongest Man caliber, which is like Giants Live, that kind of stuff. Once you get up that level, you look up where Universal and MHP and like big companies start picking you up and stuff like that, and then it kind of gets going from there.
You do it for the glory.
Yes, it's all glory.
Yeah.
It's all. There are not. I would say there are hundreds of dollars in the sport of strongman.
Literally,
Hundreds.
there's potential to make literally hundreds of
Of
dollars.
dollars. That's right. If you really work
Hundreds.
hard, but I guess at the end of the day, you're stronger than everyone. So you
Yeah,
can't say
who
that.
cares?
Some
Yeah.
guys like check out my paycheck, and you're like, check out my quad.
Well, and then they want to. When you do that, though, then you get sponsors that want you to do ads for them, and you're getting the endorsements from
Endorsements,
that.
that's
They'll
what a
start
lot of-
paying you.
A lot of the money comes from endorsements.
So they don't have a competition that you compete for actual cash prize.
Yeah, if
But they do.
the promoters, we can give out anything we want. We can give cars if we wanted to, but I can't afford when I promote meets to go out. But I guess someone want to give me a car, I'd give someone a car. But
Right.
no, you can.
Then you might want to compete too.
Yeah, it's probably like, I win.
Judge, compete.
Like, what is that? Big Daddy when they're playing that card game when they're playing I Win with that little kid.
Yeah.
We play I Win, but no. You can. There's within certain levels of contests. There's total amounts of money you're allowed to give up to. You can pay for travel to bring athletes in if you want to have a big show. I mean, obviously, it just really kind of depends. So it goes back to the sponsors, like the Arnold Classic, this Arnold Strongman Classic is probably one of the largest strongman competitions in the world. Just because instead of qualifying for it, it's hand-picked 10 athletes, usually 10 to 12 athletes, and depending on who comes and goes. And out of that, and usually like MHP or someone like that will pick up the bill to like get the athletes there and make it happen to help promote the sport and all that kind of stuff. So once you get to a certain point, capitalism takes over and starts helping you out.
So at the Arnold, did they have people from other countries there?
Yeah, they have Lithuania, Czech Republic, different parts of Russia, England, people from the U.S., people from all over the place, really.
Wow. Yeah, they have there's 88 countries or more. I know one year there was 88 different countries being represented at the Arnold. Not just in strongman, but in all the events.
Everywhere.
It's bigger than the Olympics.
It's amazing. That's my favorite thing. Like living down here, I'm like tell people like, oh, have you been to the Arnold? They're like, no, we don't go. I'm like, people come from Switzerland, and you won't drive 40 minutes and deal with like 5 minutes of trying to figure out how to park your car in downtown Columbus to see some of the most amazing. This year, at the strongman alone for free, Mark Felix set the Hummer Tire deadlift record. These are like around 1,400. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I'm not going to quote it, or the internets will blow up on me. But Mark Felix set the record this year. I know like they had the Highland Games for the first time ever down like the Columbus Commons. There's one of the huge powerlifting things is going on. There's like all the Olympic stuff. Everything, ping pong. Like,
they had ping pong?
Like Forrest Gump, like hitting the ball like.
Oh, I didn't know they had that. I like watching the fencing. I go and watch that.
But yeah, they have everything. Everything you can imagine is up there. It's unbelievable. And people are like, "What are you doing this weekend?" I'm gonna stay home and bitch.
Have you ever seen any horrific accidents, like injuries, while in strongman? Because it just seems like it's the perfect combination of ridiculously heavy lifting when you're exhausted and you're just trying to get one more in, and then all of a sudden your elbow's like,
or your asshole blows out or something.
Something happens.
Yeah, that's blowing the O-ring. That happens. We usually, mostly when you're in a meet, most of the athletes there are well prepared. Because, I mean, it's not easy. It's not like a 5K where everyone's like, look, I got a T-shirt. And they walked half of it and sat down and had a sandwich and, like, called their mom and texted. And it's like, you sign up and they're like, all right, I don't care. You're taking this 250-pound log and you're going to clean and press it as many. So there's a certain amount of, like, just sheer psychological terror of, oh, crap, I got to do this. So most people who sign up are prepared for it. Every now and then something will go wrong. Worst thing I've ever seen happen is someone just kind of loses control and gets hit in the head with something. But we try to minimize that. A lot of the implements that we use are round. We don't really like the flat stuff.
Right. So
it does hit you in the head or fall on you. It's not just going to like crush you into dust. It kind of bounces off.
I was watching one event on ESPN. I'm almost positive this was a strongman event where you take the kettlebell and you throw it over your head over like a it looked like a pole
keg
bar.
a
yeah,
keg
yeah, the kegs. That's what it was. The kegs. Some of them dudes were not even looking up to see if that thing made it. They're just like, wham. I'm like, I'd have to check. I guess
know. It's like a metal thing though, or something. It'll hit and you would hear it. I guess I don't know.
I want to say this year they were doing so good they like were breaking the implement. They were like throwing it high. But yeah, the keg toss that's a pretty fun event. You have to be outside for that one, but yeah, you practice it a lot. You know what's coming up. So I mean, at the end of the day, you're just sending it. So you really don't want to like. Do you guys play golf? You guys play
I have. I'm not an
I've
avid
seen
player.
people.
Like every time you swing.
I've rode in a golf cart.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Was at the fair. I was in a golf cart. Same thing. But every time you swing, you don't go like looking around for the ball, or the ball goes all over creation, and you suck at golf. So it's kind of one of those things you're used to it, and you just throw it as hard as you can, and you know where it's going to go.
Yeah. Now, how far in advance do you, like you said, they know what events are going to happen? Do you give them like a month, or how long in advance can you give them?
For me, I like whenever I promote a meet, I try to just to get people signed up. I try to get it out there at least 3 to 6 months in advance, and then I put the events up, I put the weights up. I don't change anything, so everyone can get prepared. With the pros, I have no idea. I'm not in the ASC. They play that, which is the American Strongman Corporation. They play that pretty close. Sometimes they know out of the gate. Sometimes they don't. I don't know. I mean, they have to let them know in enough time, because if you hurt all the pros, then you wouldn't have a sport anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of. I don't think there's ever been a surprise meet where everyone just kind of shows up and is all like wide-eyed and like, "Oh yeah, everyone."
Hey, could you turn that a little bit that way?
Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think it was
Microphone.
a little quiet on you.
But yeah.
You're soft-spoken, maybe.
I don't. Yeah. Very soft-spoken. Only in a microphone. In real life, I just scream continuously. It never stops.
So is maybe the difference between amateur and pro like testing for PODs?
PODs.
Or
What is that?
or is that
that
or
a,
what?
is that a
No,
band?
no. Yeah, it is.
Performance enhancing
Yeah,
drugs.
PEDs,
The
PEDs.
The PEDs are
The pods don't.
The PEDs, not the pods. The PEDs, performance enhancing drug. The PEDs are a huge. Nobody likes to talk about it.
It's the thing that everybody does, but nobody talks
No,
about.
everybody doesn't do it. I can only speak from personal. I do not use PEDs. I don't use any type of steroids. I don't even use supplements. I don't even take protein powder. I'm all food. But from what I've seen and from my education, I've come to that PEDs are kind of like spandex, and that they're a right, not a privilege. Everyone should not be walking around in spandex. I think a certain amount of taking care of yourself goes into wearing spandex pants. And at the same time, everyone should not be on steroids. You see it across the board with like, the worst thing is, if I can get anything out here to anyone who's listening, is if you are a teenage boy, do not take steroids. Not because I'm like, drugs are bad and okay, but because you are naturally cranking out more testosterone than you can inject yourself without dying. And the minute you start putting that testosterone in you, your natural levels plummet. And then when you cycle out, you'll basically chemically be a girl. So it's kind of one of those things that if you're squatting like 1,500 pounds or something ridiculous like that, and you're 35 years old, then you've earned the right. I mean, it's like, that's incredible. I mean, you've officially crossed the healthy line about 1,000 pounds ago. So I mean, and it's in all sports. You know who the #1 user of steroids in professional sports is?
Cyclist.
Nope.
No. I don't.
Baseball
Swimmers.
players, swimmers.
Because your shoulder is the loosest, most injury sustainable joint you have on your body, and what they're dragging their bodies through a substance that's 60% denser than air for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles.
Right.
And so most swimmers are on some form of steroid
Just for recovery.
to recover, so they can continue to be
Yeah, they're not
swimmers.
getting big and bulky and strong. It's for that recovery
Yeah,
thing.
so there's kind of a big misconception out there. There's like everyone thinks like if you take steroids, you're gonna like beat and rape everyone in the room with your fist or something like that.
Rage.
That's
Yeah,
only
like,
half the time.
just screaming.
Well, I
But,
learned that from Family Guy. I've seen Stewie taking the steroids, and he had some rage.
Exactly. Stewie's a good example of why you should do steroids.
Where you going, bro?
But yeah, so I don't know. I think there's a point. If you, I think if you're in the upper 3% of the entire athletic population, then fine. But I think if you're below that, I think you just need to do your homework and put the work in.
Do you think that someone that does steroids would be considered a weak-minded person?
No, I don't. I think if I don't know. I think if you're just like I think I think of like one of you guys were like, all right, I'm gonna start. Ryan, I want to start training at the gym tomorrow. I don't get ready for strongman. I'm like, all right, and I go like test you. I don't even know what you guys' numbers are like. Deke, right? Deke?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I just met him like 15 minutes ago. So like Deke comes in and Deke can like. I'm like, what can you squat? And he can squat like 135 pounds like 5 times.
On a good day.
Oh yeah, so we'll take that back. He can squat the bar.
Yeah,
Like
that's
5
probably
times.
what it is right there.
Barely. And like a week later, he's on anabolics. That's just retarded. That's the dumbest thing.
Because your
ever.
body has so much to give
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you before it's even an option, I mean, you should max out your genetic potential. I mean, you should be at the chemical ends of what you can do. And if you can do that, and someone is paying you to be awesome, and then to compete, then it makes sense. I mean, like baseball players, $27 million a year. They should be doing everything in their power to hit that baseball as far as they humanly can, because they're getting $27 million a year to hit a baseball. So,
But it's against the
Can't
rules.
remember who said it,
What?
but someone suggested a second Olympics where just everyone is on steroids,
open
and then a
Olympics.
regular Olympics where no one is on steroids.
that would be
And
ridiculous.
which one would get more view? Like, who do you think is going to get the more
That would
views?
be the death of any normal amount of think about like NASCAR. What if they had like NASCAR where you had like governor plates and like your car only went like 45 miles an hour? Then they've got like NASCAR where they're going doing like everything in their power to go like I don't know 220 miles an hour.
Nitrous,
Yeah.
jet rockets.
Yeah, like they've got
Like the open, whatever you want to do it.
no one is going to like go kart NASCAR.
Right,
No one's like
right. 30, 45.
See that? Nobody cares. So
That's so
no,
exciting. That wreck was
it's kind of it's a
dull.
double. Yeah, just see that guy hit the wall and he spilled his drink.
Yeah.
He's lucky to be alive. So no, I don't know. It's a really slippery slope because where do you stop? I mean I don't know. I think it definitely as a sports scientist. I think when you start chemically altering yourself, I think you take away from the nature of the point of the sport. But at the exact same time, the whole point of being competitive is to win.
Yeah.
So it's a slippery stuff. I don't know.
Well, if you're doing it for winning or you're doing it for how far you can push yourself, I mean, the steroids are kind of going to mess with that. You know what I mean? At some point.
So I don't know. I guess the best answer I could give is I've never been in that situation where I've had to deal with it. So I think there's no clear answer unless you've been there. But I think hating on people who've made the decision to is ridiculous.
I just don't want it in my body, so
Yeah,
I would
that's
choose never to. You know, I wouldn't want it if I can't do it with what I have in me. I really don't want to put something in there to make me do it.
I mean, like, what if
Right.
we made fun of everyone who didn't smoke cigarettes? Like, just everyone who doesn't smoke cigarettes. Like, there's just some like everyone should smoke. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things. I think with athletics and everything, I think it's an individual basis, and I think you have to be there to really know. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like with the Facebooks, what's big on the Facebooks is where everyone's all like dramatrons on there, and so you see all this like military, like the military should do this and the military shouldn't do that, and these are people who work in offices. You know what
Right.
I mean, like, what would they do if they went to like make copies and like the Marine Corps had like sieged the copy room? And we're like making sure that no Xeroxing was going on for the next 24 hours. Like, they'd be pissed.
It'd be horrible.
Yeah, if the military showed up and said you can't do your job anymore, and it's a non-military function, like people are like, oh, that's a violation of my rights. But at the same time, everyone who isn't in the military thinks they have the ability to govern what the military should and shouldn't do. So I don't know. I think peds are like that. That if you, I think if you're in the realm where it may be a good idea, then whatever. But I think people who aren't there, I don't think we should all just be pointing names and calling fingers because you don't know what they've been through. I mean, especially with all the new with the hormone replacement, like the low T and all that kind of
Right,
stuff.
right.
I mean,
They're getting that TRT.
yeah,
Everybody's getting that. All the
there's
fighters.
There's like a deodorant steroid now or something like that. It's like pH balance for a man and will like give a woman a
I gotta
beard.
do my TRT.
It's like so like secret. It's like obvious.
Yeah.
pH balance for a man. Stay away, ladies. But so I don't. So it's just one of those things that I think everyone likes to get in everyone's business, but until you've been there, I don't know.
I guess so.
If it's against the rules and you get caught, sorry, Charlie, it's against the rules and you got caught. But it's individual. I don't know.
Right. You were saying you don't take any like you don't take any supplements, right?
Nothing. I don't even take vitamins. I don't. It's zero. I take zero anything.
That's something that a lot of people don't understand. I think eventually, people may need something, or also because some of the farmlands are getting deficient of the nutrients. Like they're planting the same vegetable in the same field every year, and it sucks those nutrients out of that soil if they're not doing it right.
I don't know. I'm not an agriculturalist.
But a lot of people.
I do live in Chillicothe, but I don't know anything. I don't know anything about growing the corn.
But like for instance, corn has selenium in it, which comes from the soil. If you plant corn over and over in the same field, it's gonna suck that selenium.
Selenium is super important. You know what? Here's a funny thing. Here's my health lecture. You know what the number one food with the highest rate of selenium is in it that you can eat?
What's that?
Hot dogs.
Really, really.
And selenium is typically the number one nutrient that high-performing athletes are mostly low in. But hot dogs are loaded with selenium.
That's crazy.
How is that possible? Do they put them in there?
Especially corn dogs.
Is
I
it
don't
because cows eat?
They probably use some
Cows-
corn-based
cows eat
something. Yeah.
selenium. I don't
Cows
know.
eat a lot of corn now. They're not grass-fed.
I don't know. But corn dogs especially are loaded to the teeth with selenium.
Wow.
Here's an interesting fact. We eat like this, like omega-3 fatty acids. Like we used to get a lot in cow meat because cows eat grass, and there's just a minute amount of omega-3 in grass. and they eat so much grass that it gets in their meat, but now we don't get it anymore because all
They're
cows are
grain.
corn fed. Yeah, grain and corn fed.
It's not all cows. It's you know what? Buy local.
That's yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Everyone gets all like everyone's like everyone
Go
thinks
down
like,
to the Amish. They cut you
Yeah.
up whatever you want.
yeah, everyone thinks like buy local means like you have to like wear sandals and like smoke your clothes, but like but it's really not very hard. It's like you want bacon, like go to Hirsch's Fruit Farm, like because we're here in Chillicothe. Go to Hirsch's, like buy their vegetables, because if you buy local, you don't support this giant chain of like this industrialized agriculture system that we've created.
I agree with you.
Putting
totally.
a bunch of shit on everything you don't
Yeah.
know what's on.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. But
Which
so
Hershey's could be doing that too. Not
No,
saying anything bad about
they
them.
are
I don't
actually-
know.
I can say for a fact that they are not. When I taught health class, I showed was it Food Inc. I showed that.
Yeah,
show.
I've seen that. Yeah,
And
it's
one of
nuts.
the youngest Hirsch boy was in my class, and like his dad called me, and like we had like a really big long discussion about it, and they don't do anything. They're it's like they
Hershey's has got a Honey Crisp apple.
amazing.
Oh my goodness, they're expensive,
They're worth it.
but oh my god,
They're
they're
worth
like it's the best apple you've ever ate, and I
Really?
promise you that. It's called a Honey Crisp. I don't know, is that their apple or something?
That's
Like,
their, I don't. They grew it. I guess it's their apple. I guess.
I don't know if,
I
but
find
I think
something
they
at my house is
crossbred
mine,
something and
period.
Right.
yeah.
I don't know. They do some good fruit.
Oh, it's delicious.
But, I don't know, but it's just eat food. I don't know. There's kind of two reasons why I chose not to do supplements. The first reason is with my education and everything with nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, so legally I can't give any nutrition advice. But the facts of the
You
human
did
body.
stay at a Holiday Inn last
Yeah,
night.
but I did stay at Holiday Inn last night.
So with that being said, here's your nutrition advice.
No, but they when you take a vitamin, your body absorbs about 50% of that. So whether it's protein powder or it's like Animal Pack or Rage or whatever crap they got you on, your body's only getting about 50% of what it says on the label. If you eat food, you get 90%. You get a 90%
Right.
absorption rate. So out of the gate, without any of the other like unprovable hoaxum that they like to do, eating food is better. If you see something that says it's got like 36 grams of protein in it, which is I don't know why 36 is like the magic number. it says it's got like 36. You're actually getting about only 18 grams of protein.
But Animal Pack is like 999% of everything, so I'd still be getting 450% or something.
But yeah, that's what I mean. It's like all of that, and then they just bomb your kidneys with like a whole bunch of crap. You can't even.
That's the worst.
Your
part.
liver and your
If
kidneys,
it
man.
says 900, if it says 900% of your daily recommendations, that means out of the gate, whether you need it or not, 500% of that is running through your kidneys, and then it factors down to, not 500%, 50% of that, but if it's 900, it'd be like 450. But so so if your protein powder automatically goes down to like 18 grams because it's destroyed in the digestive process because of how loosely packaged it is, because it's chemical and it's not natural, you're now looking at like 18 grams of protein. And if you're looking at 18 grams of protein, would you rather drink like a strawberry shake that tastes like warmed over like death chalk?
Yeah.
Or would you rather like be sitting there on like a weight bench eating like barbecue chicken and like some scrambled eggs?
Yeah, definitely
it's-
right.
Oh, yeah, eggs. I love fresh eggs,
Yeah.
man. And
What?
you can get them. People do it like have a couple chickens. You can get fresh eggs almost anywhere around here, and they do taste different. I thought my mom was crazy. She's like, take these eggs, go try a store-bought egg, and then cook one of these up and try it, and there's a flavor difference.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, I've never understood in anyone's right mind why, if given the opportunity, you would choose something that tastes like hell. I've never heard anyone like slam down a protein shake and be like, amazing, and like make another one.
Normally they're like,
Yeah.
man.
They throw it down and they got this look in their face like, oh, no, and they look like they just ate an entire box of chalk.
The ones I like they have to be the ones with a lot of calories in it, like 280 calories or
It's like all
390.
sugar.
Like-
It's better just to eat Twinbee. Just get
I
some-
can't do the one that's just like high protein, low calories because it tastes like shit.
Like
Like
seriously, like take a bunch of scrambled eggs and like stir chocolate frosting into them.
that's probably what it is. Yeah.
Calories and protein. Bam.
Bam, sugar.
And a lot of that comes from going back to when you get there, going looking at the world's strongest man competitors, you're looking at a 7'2" man who weighs 450 pounds.
Jeez.
He eats like 15,000 calories a day. I don't know if you've. I don't even know what 15,000 calories would.
Right. I don't eat that in a week.
It would be physically impossible to shovel 15,000 calories into your mouth daily, and not just start like a 7-year vomiting spree.
Yeah.
Just from all the food just starts shooting.
Like I said, I don't eat that in a week.
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't think.
So I could see
close to it.
I can see at that point when you're like trying to eat clean. I mean, you can't. I mean, what do you have like 17 packs of bacon and die 22 minutes later? I mean, die like glorious, like so much bacon.
Bacon's so good.
I love bacon,
I
man.
mean, it's like
bacon.
It's delicious.
What's that? What's the YouTube channel where the extreme food challenges? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where they put. I've seen a couple of
They're
them.
like
I know what you're
drunk all
talking
the
about.
time,
Yeah.
And that guy is like, I mean, like, what are they? I mean, he was like, and it's physically impossible to eat those kinds of calories, like, and get. So I could see like if you needed like 15,000 calories a day to maintain your sport, then all right, I can.
A
see
lot
that.
of peanut butter.
But like Johnny, like gym goer who weighs like 200 pounds, like just eat food, man. Just go to the grocery store and like buy some food and eat it. I mean, it's just kind of.
How about Gym Rat Louie? A neck like that, you gotta.
Yeah, Jim Rat Louie definitely eats some.
He's got
food.
he's on his protein bars. I'm
He
sure.
probably still has his mama making his eggs and stuff.
He eats a lot of lasagna. I'm sure.
My mama make me some eggs.
So yeah, so I don't. So
New
that's
York.
kind of where I am. And then the other end with supplements is and this is coming from I know some pharmacists and I've asked them about it. And the other end of supplements is the reason they're legal is because they don't stay in your system for longer than 15 minutes. They're legal because there's you don't need a prescription for them because there's no overdose rate. Like you could eat an entire can of protein powder, or like you could probably take like all the animal pack vitamins at once, like those little bags you get.
Yeah,
you could probably take
11
all
pills.
of those
I've
at
got
once.
some.
Yeah, and they're all like the size of your fist. I mean, it's like who designs this?
There's one, and yeah, there's a couple horse pills in that thing.
They look like these pink Pal Eraser pets, and there's like 7 of them. So you could probably take that whole entire jar, and you would not. Your pee would probably glow, and you could. Probably,
Oh, it does.
And you could probably smell your urine from like across the
Your
street.
pee glows with one pack.
But so you could probably take the whole entire thing, and you will not overdose. So that's the first thing.
You might hit 1,000,000% on some of those.
Bajillion.
If you took the whole
My
pack.
vitamin C is at a terabyte.
Yeah.
Kilometrons. But, it's not illegal because you can't take it until you're dead, so the government doesn't care. And the other thing is it only stays in your system for about 15 minutes. And so that's why these companies are like on your ass, like take it 20 minutes before you work out and 20 minutes after you work out and drink it the entire time, because it's literally like as soon as you stop taking it, it's just coming out your butt. It's out of your bloodstream. So it just
15 minutes?
15 minutes.
Okay, if I took a pill, when does that 15 minutes start? Like as soon as it starts dissolving?
Once it's in your bloodstream. I mean, it's not like you drink and it's in. I mean, obviously, like
It takes a little while.
I mean, if you're looking at like caffeine buzz from like B complex, and you're like, and you're like on like Red Bull, like freak out. I mean, obviously that's gonna last longer than 15 minutes. But all of these amazing beta amino blocking superpower Tarragon, I don't know, or whatever the crap they put in them. Once it's physically in your system, it only lasts for 15 minutes. So, I mean, what's it going to do in 15 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just at the end of the day, it's a lot of money, and food just makes more. And food tastes better.
It does.
Food tastes better. I mean, it's just.
I've been recently making like kale shakes. Using like kale, cucumbers, carrots, and the fruit.
Juice them or like blend
No, I don't juice them. I keep the pulp, like just blend it. Yeah, blend it up into a smoothie type of thing.
I'm like a juice fiend.
I know a couple people that do that. Like,
Do you?
And he drinks it every day at school. A kid at the school does that.
Have you heard about like how juicing might take some nutrients out because of you're losing the pulp?
It's kind of, I don't know. I don't think it takes it out. I mean, you're losing the pulp, so you're probably losing fiber content. But at the end of the, Typically, what you see is usually color is a good sign of some sort of micronutrient that's in place. Like you juice a beet and it looks like blood, and you juice grapes, and so usually when you're retaining some sort of that color, it's obviously it's not all in the pulp. Some things like what's the one that everyone likes? It's like they've got the berries in the middle. It's like acacia berry or something. There's one of them.
Oh, the
The Acacia. Yeah.
There's one of them, and it's like a big, ugly red fruit, and it's got these little like juicy
pomegranate.
Pomegranate. Yeah.
All of the nutrients in those things are in the freaking peel.
It tastes like shit.
And the peel is like the seventh ring of hell. Like trying to eat one of those things.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so it's like you're just spinning all day. I mean, they taste good, but so I'm a big. So I don't know. I like juicing. That's one of the things that I do to try to.
I hate cleaning up that damn juicer.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's what sucks. That's why the blender's a little bit. I hate cleaning the blender, but it's not as complicated as a stupid juicer.
See, this is something me and my wife go around it. She loves like pulp. She's a pulp freak. Like we were at the grocery store and she saw like high pulp orange juice.
Oh yeah,
love it.
Yeah,
love it.
This was like years ago when it first came out. She's like, "Oh my god!"
Extra high,
Yeah.
double dose.
And she's so excited, and I'm just like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like trying to get in front of it so she can't see it. So my big thing with like blending everything is I'm like, it's so thick. This is ridiculous. So I don't know. I prefer the juicer just because it's a lot of things. There's no way in crap I'm grinding up a beet and drinking it. I mean that was.
Well, if you mix an
Right.
apple in with it,
You
it
have
probably
to put
wouldn't be so bad.
You have to put an apple or a pear or some kind of a sweeter fruit.
That's
Is what I usually do.
like my favorite.
Because kale tastes like shit.
Now that we're swapping recipes, my favorite thing to juice when I just feel like I've been beat with a hammer after training is I'll take like 16 ounces of milk and I'll juice a beet into it, and then I'll drink that because like beets have got just buttloads of antioxidants in them. So you got like all the protein, you got the fat, you got the carbohydrates and all the good stuff in the milk, and then like you've got like a whole big rush of like antioxidants and stuff like that, and the minerals coming from the beets and all the iron and stuff like that.
Right.
You got a recipe for like a good protein shake?
A good protein shake.
Like my fiance is trying to put on a little weight, so I made her like a peanut butter and milk and.
Trying to put on weight.
Yeah.
Was her dress too big? I've never heard anyone say that ever.
She wants to put on some weight.
Hey, good for her. That's
So we did like peanut butter, banana, and milk. Like, but I don't want to keep giving her peanut butter and banana and milk, but I want to give her something with a lot of protein.
One day she'll want to be losing weight. She's gonna be like, man, okay, now it's easy to gain weight.
You give it. I always actually at the gym we have a big jar of peanut butter and we wrote weight gainer on it with a magic marker. And it's like
I do a lot of hiking, and if you're going hiking, you take peanut butter
Peanut
because
butter.
it is. You keep it in your pack. It doesn't go. You know what I mean? Doesn't go bad.
I don't know. It's kind of everyone is like protein maniacs. I don't really understand that. It's like if you don't have like your protein shake, your protein meal like every 3 hours, like the protein apocalypse comes and like Revelation speaks of it. And there's like a pillar of.
What would you suggest for gaining weight?
For gaining weight, eat lots of bagels, macaroni, and
Carbs.
Just carbs. You go carb crazy. I mean.
But won't that be like? What kind of weight is she? Is she working out?
Oh yeah,
or-
she does like Zumba and stuff too. So it's gonna be.
But is it Zumba like weight loss?
It is. It's a little bit of.
So she's gaining weight loss.
It's aerobic.
She
I get-
tries
yeah,
to do
I don't-
like I don't know.
Zumba's fun. That's about it.
The lady told her some
Everybody
other
seems like
stuff to
trying
do
to
to help her not do so much cardio, but more like strength training while she's doing it. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Zumba's fun. I don't know if she's gonna get her anywhere. It's a good way to meet people and have a good time. It's one of those. If she is trying to put on muscle, if she wants to like get like lean and like get muscular, and I want to preface this right now: when girls lift weights, they do not turn into dudes. Everyone thinks like if a girl like looks at a barbell, like she's going to turn into like.
I heard that's nearly impossible.
It is. They're not even chemically the same as us. As soon as women start working out, their estrogen. As soon as they stop lifting, their estrogen just starts fighting muscle. And like dudes, we got testosterone, so that's why we got the ups on that. But I usually my rule of thumb is if she's trying to put on good solid weight is like a pound or 2 a month.
Yeah.
And with that pound or 2, she should be seeing PRs monthly. She should be seeing monthly PRs, and in your major lifts like your squatting, deadlifting, bench press, overhead press. If you're doing strongman like we do, your axle clean and press, your strongman, log clean and press, farmer's walks. But if she's putting on 1 to 2 pounds a month, she should be PRing monthly. If she's not breaking personal records continuously, then she's not putting on muscle. She's just getting.
So I'm going to load her up on carbs now.
So, and it's just one of I mean, everyone's different. Everyone acts like there's like this magical box that you fit in.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like everyone like 3.1897.4 times your body weight in kilograms divided by 2 plus 3 carry the 4, and that's how much protein you should eat. It's like I've never seen anyone with protein deficiency, ever. Like working in like collegiate weight rooms and running my own gym and going to strongman meets, I've never in my entire life seen a person with protein deficiency. So I think we've all kind of went like protein mad because like there was some like protein diet and everyone's like, yeah. But I think at the end of the day, it's not.
Why do you think that is? I never thought about like.
It's just not that serious.
I mean, we're getting it from food, but basically it was a gimmick that somebody was like, oh, you have to have your amino acids for your your recovery, and you just get it immediately in this one little pill, or I don't.
It goes back to no one does the reading. We live in my favorite commercial. It's like that girl, and she's like,
She can't anything on the internet.
It's like she's on there and she's like, I consider myself an expert. I read part of an article. She's like, I read part of an article in Google, and she's like going on about like social dynamics or something like that. And it's no one does the reading. The truth is, and now that I've got a microphone in front of my face and I can say this, and I hope one person hears me, even if it's just you two. So 2 people hear me, maybe 3. But the truth is, everyone has this. You have to eat this much protein every 3 hours, or like the protein apocalypse comes. That study was based off of a study on Olympic athletes, and that study has been extremely perverse, not through like all this like devious behavior to trick everyone, but just from a lack of checking your sources. What that study states that's how much protein a highly functioning athlete uses per 3 hours. So if you factored up as much protein as you need an entire day, and you ate that right before you went to sleep, you would be good for the next 24 hours. You wouldn't take like that small 3-hour chunk of protein and just pee the rest out.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. Your body uses amino acids for cellular function. You know that from fighting. Your body uses amino acids for cellular function and repair and all that kind of stuff. So it's not just going to be like, oh, that's enough, and pee it all out and pray to Jesus that you eat more later. Like we'd all be dead.
It's going to hold on to it.
Yeah, we would be the dominant species on the planet if we were.
So you're saying if you're working out hard and you need it, it's gonna save it.
It stores it and it's there. Where the every 3 hours comes from, going back to we were talking about the 7'2", 500-pound man. It is really, 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 really hard to eat like 15,000 clean calories a day. So in order to eat 15,000 clean calories a day, that'd be like eating like the entire frozen food section at all of the frozen all of the chicken at Kroger's. Just eat that for lunch. You know what I mean? So you have to break that apart into meals, because if you just you can't eat that much food in one sitting, and so you have to be really clean. So that every 3 hours, it's just kind of came out of for people who eat crap loads of calories, so they can still eat clean, so they can maintain their mass, their body mass, but not eat garbage at the same time, because when you get to that point, you're basically like a Lamborghini, and you don't put an economy gas in a Lamborghini. So like the world's strongest man, like Brian Shaw, he's not going to sit down and eat like 17 boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese for dinner. You know what I mean? Like that would be impossible, because you just start vomiting it up, and B, like the nutrient density would suck. So he has to eat all day. But the truth is, if you're like me, I don't know what you fight at. Do you fight or
not anymore?
Not anymore.
He used to.
He won everything. Deke is done.
It was
They kicked me out.
He was
I
done with
too
that.
great.
Too great.
Don't
Like,
check into that.
We need you to podcast, Deke. You're taking away from the sport. But it's just this. So like, what weight class did you fight at?
145.
So like 145. 145. How many calories do you need to maintain 145?
1,400 calories or something like that.
1,400 calories a day. Like, what do you walk around at?
160.
So you walk around like 160. So you don't eat. If you ate 15,000 calories a day, you'd be like a super heavyweight. You'd be like the shortest. Super
I would be like a cannonball.
Yeah.
Or an egg. This, you know what I mean? Like wide this way.
Ridiculous. You'd be like Butterbean.
Yes.
Which would be horrible. You would be like the worst MMA fighter ever. So it's one of those things. So to maintain that between like 14 and like the 2,000 calories, you could sit down for dinner and like mow down 2,000 calories and get everything in and not eat all day and be fine. But if you got to eat 15,000 calories, but you have to break that apart.
Do you think I would be fine if I ate it all in one time?
Heck yeah, that's what I do.
I don't think I would be.
That's exactly what I do. I day fast. I'm a day faster.
My reasoning to not do that is what I've heard is like if you eat once every 24 hours.
I eat dinner like crazy.
We're like, okay, so you're probably looking to you do different training though. So you're trying to put on muscle, probably strength. But you still have weight classes, but I'm just thinking like whenever you eat once a day and you take in all those calories or whatever, can your body process all that?
Yeah,
it's gonna still process that 90% that you said.
It's in you. I mean, it's in you. It's like it goes back to.
It doesn't try to just be like, man, or okay, well, here's where it is. Like, you get it all in, then it's like, oh my God, we're not gonna eat for another 24 hours. So let's store a bunch of this as fat or something. It doesn't do that.
That comes back to another really interesting point on athletes and nutrition and weight loss. This is huge for all the ladies out there listening. All right, if you had 100,000, how much does a Lamborghini cost? Does anyone know?
It's probably there's 200. Some are 200.
$200,000. Let's say a Lamborghini costs $200,000. If I gave you $200,000, and I said you can spend it any way you want. You could either go out and you could buy like a Lambo, and be like doing like donuts in the parking lot, electrostatic clutch, like. So it was like, hey, you want to be in a rap video? That was pretty sweet. But, like you could do that, or you could buy like a whole bunch of stuff, or you could live on it for like 30 years. I don't know.
Buy a house and a decent car,
but at the end of the day, you still spent $200,000. Doesn't matter. You still just spent that money, whether you bought a Lambo or you bought like 50,000 things with it.
Right.
You still spent $200,000. So it comes back to the thermogenic effect of energy, because we all say calories, but it's energy. Actually, in the UK and places like that, it says energy. If you look on a Cadbury chocolate bar, it doesn't say calories, it says energy. So it's energy. So if you're consuming 2,000 kilocalories of energy in one sitting, you'll have a thermogenic effect of 2,000 calories. If you eat 1,000 calories a meal, do you have a higher thermogenic effect? Because you still ate 2,000 calories. If you eat, let's divide that out by, let's go like 4 meals. If you eat 4 or 500 calorie meals, are you burning more calories?
I don't know. I always thought you were.
Well, I mean,
I thought your metabolism boosts when you eat more frequently.
But your metabolism can only burn what you're putting in your mouth. It can only your metabolism. We talk more about metabolism. I can talk all day about metabolism.
Where the confusion is this is different from what every other doctor. This is different from what a doctor is going to tell you.
I'm not selling a book or a pill
exactly.
Or a plan.
Yeah.
I'm selling a manageable lifestyle. That is what I do. I don't sell hoaxing and magical beans and whatnot.
Is it hard to get used to eating just one big meal a day though? Because sometimes I'm not gonna lie. I can go I'll go. This is what I usually do. I'll go till like 5 or 6 o'clock because I'm just not hungry during the day.
You're just not hungry, and it's like you're not dying.
No.
I mean, I don't look. I'm like, we need to get this guy a sandwich. He's going to.
How about
you look like a normal dude.
Like breakfast with getting your brain functioning and all that? I mean, don't you need some kind of something in your stomach or like some fat for your brain?
All right, here's a rule in your body. You have about enough blood to do 1.5 things. That's why if you eat like a bunch of macaroni salad and go swimming at your family picnic, you'll like drown and die. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to swim and
digest.
you're trying to digest at the same time. So your body is sharing this blood because you don't have enough blood to do 2 entire systems at the same time. So you start cramping, you're like, oh, then you seize up and you die and no one knows it, and then you're dead. So that's what happens. So it's the same thing. So in that retrospect, and because I'm a big fan of, before I was in sports science, I was a software engineer, and we had to take a lot of logistics and a lot of validity and a lot of and then fallacies and things like that. So I'm a big fan of when I build programs, I'm looking for that 1-to-1 ratio. Like if it's one on this side and one on that side, then it's valid. If it's two on this side and one on that side, then it's invalid because it's not equal. So if you eat a bunch of food and you go try to swim and like the lifeguard has to drag you out of the pool because you're drowning from all the macaroni salad because your body's drowning. Now let's take that same thing. You have your brain, which is your nervous system, and you get your digestive system. Does it make any amount of sense that you would get up in the morning and eat the largest meal of the day and suck all of that blood out of your brain and into your gut in an effort to function better? Think about it. What happens after you eat Thanksgiving.
Right, but if I'm
You
not,
get tired.
You get tired.
Get
So-
the itis.
So if
the
you
itis
get up
sets
in the morning
in,
and you have like 17 pancakes because that's what you're supposed to do because that's what the FDA told you,
okay,
you're going to be. It's not helping you be like, wow, I'm crisp and ready to go.
but all right. Well, I'm not saying like the whole meal or the whole 2,000 calories or
Yeah.
whatever at breakfast, but a small breakfast, a snack, a lunch.
Where all that comes from is what we have to realize, and this is like people like, oh, a conspiracy. This isn't a conspiracy. I don't whatever. This is just knowledge. It's just reading and paying attention to the details. The majority of the rules about how we should eat were written by people who sell food. Think about
Right.
that.
Yeah.
If with me, us three, we start like some sort of food factory. Would you rather tell people to eat like dinner, or would you rather tell people to eat 6 times a day? What makes us more money?
Right.
Eat 6 times a day. So that what has happened is the majority of the food rules in this country were written by people who sell food. It's like me. It's a perfect example of me. It's like if someone, I start talking to someone about fitness or something like that, they instantly that light bulb comes on. They're like, he's trying to scam me into joining his gym because that's what he sells weightlifting, so he's trying to trick me. Like people do that, but no one looks at like the food pyramid and that we should all eat 6 times a day and we should have like ham and bacon and chicken continuously and we should always be drinking soda pop and we should have a snack every 3 hours and we should basically set ourselves up to continuously be hungry. No one has thought about the fact that these rules were put in place by people who sell food.
Right.
And when you think about it like that, then you're like,
The government made the food pyramid, right?
yeah, it's
And they keep changing it.
it's the
I did.
Illuminati. It's the Illuminati.
Let's remind everybody tuning in. This is the Blue Wall Podcast. We got Ryan Minney. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you're a strongman competitor /
Strength coach / small business owner /
T-shirt maker.
T-shirt
Is that
maker.
small business?
Okay.
world dominator.
And he's just dropping some knowledge on us about
Nutrition.
the myths,
A little bit.
myths of nutrition and what he does and his personal experience with nutrition.
After the disclaimer,
After
he gave us
is
this
not
advice.
a dietary
I'm not-
expert.
Yes,
He has no degree in it.
And it's really sad because of those guys. Because I have friends who are dietitians, and they can't help it. They're behind so much liability insurance that they really can't give advice outside of a hospital scenario
Wow.
because they could just sue the whole. It's an ugly situation.
I'm a massage therapist, and I'm not allowed to advise. Like I can't say, "Oh, man, you're back. Well, go do this kind of stretch," or I can't even say, "Hey, drink some water." I'm not allowed to say that because that's called giving a prescription, and I'm not a doctor.
Water prescription.
Yeah, and I'm not a doctor, so I can't do that. And I think that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. But I guess I got to protect myself. And
Yeah, and it's how they are. I mean, they're protecting themselves, but the sad part is we don't live in a system where everyone can just go to the hospital and get nutrition advice. So that's the way it is. But it's kind of when you're taking advice. I mean, think about it that way. So the food system was put in place by people who sell you food, and the reality of how the human body works is, like you say, you eat about 6 o'clock every day, and you don't eat all day, right?
yeah,
What happens at 5:30? 5:30, 5 o'clock. Start getting hungry, right?
Yeah,
That's when you start looking for candy bars and little pieces of whatever in the bottom of your pocket. Something to eat.
well, I've been trying to eat healthy as of late, but yeah. I mean, I'm starting to try. I need to find something, or else I start to get cranky, and I notice that like when I get hungry, I start to get a little bit irritated with people, and I get cranky, and then once I eat, I'm like, oh, perfect, I'm fine.
So what you're looking at is you eat about an hour to 45 minutes before you eat, you start getting hungry. You eat, And then most people, satiety lasts about an hour, something like that. So basically, if you train yourself to eat every 3 hours, you're only not hungry for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Every 3 hours. So the majority of your day is spent foraging, and then you go back to and you look at let's not even go back to like everyone's like paleo. Everyone's big on paleo diet. Paleo, eat like a caveman. Caveman's number one cause of death was starvation. Don't eat like a caveman. If you eat like a caveman, you're not eating. But so we go back to like the Indians, like the Native Americans. Go back to the Native Americans, like 200 years ago. So we got Native Americans. Do you think they like got up in the morning, had like a big ass breakfast, rode their horse for 3 hours, stopped and made a snack, rode their horse for 3 hours, stopped and had lunch, rode their horse for 3 hours, like had a snack, set up camp, had it? No, they rode their horse and they did their thing all day, and they went home and ate dinner at night. And that was the entire population of this country until Europe shows up, and they weren't having any problems at all.
I gotta have breakfast. I don't care. I have to.
It's one
I
of those.
can't not.
I seen this funny thing that we're talking about Native Americans. I'm going to find it. I don't know. Have you heard this? Where the American colonel asked the Native American, I think his name was Two Eagles, where the white man went wrong. You ever heard?
I've heard so much of that.
I'm going to find it because it's hilarious.
But yeah, you kind of, and it goes back to, if you're used to eating, we're creatures of habit. If you're used to eating, you're going to be hungry. So I mean, I'm not saying like stop it like it's rule, but if day fasting is something that people are interested in, then it's then you just keep phasing it out. I mean,
When you eat that meal at the end of the day, do you are you are you full? Like
yeah,
you
no,
feeling like,
definitely.
oh shit,
No, never. I think that's one thing. We are no longer at a point in this culture that we eat for survival. We eat for fun. I don't think anyone
Pleasure to get rid of depression.
I don't think anyone should go to bed hungry. Ever. That's ridiculous. Going to bed hungry is why diets fail. But it's kind of one of those things where you wait. It's like it's food. I'm not acting like I never get takeout. I do get takeout sometimes, but a lot of the time it's homemade food that like either my wife makes or I help her make, or however dinner works that night. But I'll eat an entire dinner and I'll wait 20 minutes, and if I'm hungry again, I'll eat dinner again, and I'll just keep on doing that until I'm full. And for guys our size, what you find is it's really hard to eat 2,000 calories of actually wholesome cooked food
in one sitting?
and like one even broken into 20-minute pieces. So I mean, and at the end of the day, as an athlete, especially as a weight class athlete, it's a lot easier to control what you're putting in your mouth if you're only doing it once a day. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, well, maybe it was my lunch, well, maybe it was dinner, well, maybe it was that protein shake, or maybe it was because I didn't have my Kraft Amazing bar.
That's true, because
so I grabbed Chex Mix because I thought I was going to slam someone.
Because that was my time to eat. I had to eat, and I wasn't buying anything. I had to run through McDonald's.
And bam, you bought food. That was your time to eat. You didn't have your pre-map, so guess what you did? You supported the food system.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's one of those. It's not like a crazy conspiracy,
I mean,
but it just kind of makes sense when you talk about it.
That's a good theory there, though. I like that one. The thing that you could control it better. I can't eat once a day.
And you don't crap out all of your.
Have you tried to do it though? I've
gone to like 3 times a day, and I can do it on that. But when I'm training for a fight, like I have to do some running sometime in the day, and then I go and do my technique and stuff in the evening, in my sparring or my technique.
What kind of running do you do?
Just jogging, or I'll jog for just weight maintenance.
Speed walk,
but then I'll do hills and stuff like that. But
we should get together sometime, and I should help you out with some of your fighters, like do some of the programming there. There's a lot of stuff that combat athletes do that is hurting you, that is just kind of ingrained into your subculture. And just because it's like, oh, this is what I did, and that's what my coach did, so we should get together. For all the combat athletes out there listening right now, stop running long distance.
It's bad for your knees, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Everything is deadlifting 500 pounds bad for your knees. I mean, it's like I hate people. It's bad for your knees. I know it's bad for your sport. You will never be in a fight unless it's like one of these like crazy backyard Bruce Lee fights. Bruce Lee's my favorite. He like won Nash registered fight his entire career. Bruce Bruce Lee had
He actually had a real fight.
Bruce Lee had like one real fight in Hong Kong, and other than that, it was just like 30 minutes of beating people up in his garage.
Like people would
he
come
was-
and challenge him at it when he opened the studio in Oakland.
Yeah, he was more like 50 Cent than anyone. It was just like, he really wasn't a combat athlete. He was just a dude who liked to beat people up and liked to get kicked in the face.
Right? Yeah, he didn't even like competing.
Yeah,
He was about the real life. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
kick
dude.
you in the balls.
Yeah, it was like, that's my sandwich, karate chop. But
Right.
but it's kind of you will never fight anyone for 45 minutes continuously, just at 70% of your heart rate. It doesn't work. It's like if you're a heavy. I don't know what your rounds are like, but like UFC heavyweight rounds, 3 5-minute rounds, right?
Yeah, all of pro.
So you
are-
should be doing anaerobic threshold training for 5 minutes. Your break should be your corner time, and you should do that like 4 or 5 times.
Right.
And that's what's going to get you ready to fight, not running around the block for an hour and a half, listening to your iPhone.
Right. I mean, I still do that stuff, but I jog just to keep I keep my weight lower. Like when I'm jogging, my weight will stay at 5 to 10 pounds lower than like my walking around. Like it keeps my weight maintained.
If your weight is screwed up, it's because of your food.
No, my weight's not screwed up, but
No, I
I'm
mean,
cutting
like,
from
but-
160 to 145.
But that's all food. You don't burn anything. If you literally burn like 100 calories a mile, maybe, if you're lucky. If you're like, if you are like just running your balls off, you probably burn 100 calories a mile. So if you run like 3 miles, I'm guessing that's probably you probably do like a 5K or something.
Maybe.
Like that.
Usually like a
So-
couple
so
miles.
you're like maybe, so like 2 miles.
Like 20 minutes
You're not
of
burning
jogging
like
or
a
something.
Snickers bar. I mean, seriously.
Right,
I mean,
right.
You're better just to not eat a Snickers bar.
Sure.
I mean,
But also lung function too.
but it comes back to who was I was talking to? He's the single best way that combat athletes can condition is by sparring. Live.
Right. Well,
Going
you want to
live.
do what you're gonna do.
Yeah, going live. I mean, that's if you going live for 40 minutes is 100 times better than any amount of jogging you could ever do.
Right.
And then build into your strength conditioning program, which should be take place like 4 to 6 hours later. That's when your strength training and your anaerobic training and kind of all that that stuff should be built in. And you're still looking at like an hour, 2-hour window, maybe. I say hour and a half window. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like there's just because if going back to that 1-to-1 ratio, you want to be powerful. Like you want to just like drill people and get on.
Well, you want to be as powerful as you can at the lowest
wanna
weight
come
that
in-
you can
yeah.
do.
Yeah, you want to go railing out of that corner, and you want to just control them the entire time and just rub their face in it the whole fight. So you want to train that by doing things that are like that. I mean, you're looking at Dan John. Everyone, Dan John, is that his name? Big wrestler back in the day. Dan John. I don't know. But when I say
A fighter or
yeah, he was a wrestler.
Dan Severn,
No, he
big
was,
dude with the
he's-
mustache.
No, he's been around, he's the strength coach at Wake Forest right now. I'm pretty sure it's Dan John. He's
Wrestler Dan Gable.
No, it's not Gable.
No?
It's not Danny Gable, but he's up there with Danny Gable. But anyways, how he trained for collegiate wrestling and everything that he accomplished was he would put like 225 on a bar, and he would do like hang cleans and pull-ups for like 30 minutes every day, and that's how. Because I mean, and it's one of those things, and it's kind of CrossFit like took that away from wrestling, but it's one of those things that if you're a combat athlete, you need to be training powerful. You should have phases where you're training strength, so you have a higher capacity for power and force, and then when you get closer to competing, when you're getting like 12 weeks out from like a match or something like that from a fight, then you want to switch over from that force development to power and speed development.
12 weeks is a long time.
Yeah, I mean that's
Like you fight possibly monthly
I
or
mean,
2 months.
it's just kind of. I mean, you have to have an off season.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's kind of the big thing I see with strongman, and the big thing I see when I work with combat athletes, is that the hardest part is when you're in control of your own schedule and you just want to be great and you want to fight all the time or you want to compete all the time. If you don't have an off season, you can never get better. I mean, look at the greats. 1 to
Right.
2 fights a year.
Right. Yeah. I would preferably like to do at least 3 a year,
Yeah. So
if not 4, but like every 3 months or so.
So you space them out. So as a competitor, because the goal is to win, not fight. I mean, fighting is the vessel that you use to win. So the goal is to win. So it makes more sense to prepare. Louis Simmons is famous for, I always screw up quotes, but he's famous for one of his powerlifting quotes that whenever his athletes go to a powerlifting meet, they know that they can do the numbers they're about to because they've already done it. West Side athletes never go into a powerlifting meet praying to God that they're going to get that number. They've already done it, and they're prepared psychologically there. And out of that, he had a quote that was something to the effect of, when you go to war, you go to war to kill. You don't go to war to be killed. So when you step into the ring, or when you octagon or cage, what do you guys call it?
Yeah, cage.
Cage, yeah, whatever you got. Whatever.
UFC has octagon. They have a patent or something.
Whatever
No one else can use the shape octagon.
Yeah. Whatever the state fair is set up for you. Whatever you're in there and getting after it, you should be maximally prepared to eviscerate the person across and they're with you. And the only how you're going to do that is by training to be stronger and training to be faster and training to have better stamina for the length of your round and the better recovery and not feel like you're like, you come out of a fight and your face is swole up and your lips are blue and you're drooling on yourself. You don't even know you're bleeding all over creation. So it's like you have all that and you want to be prepared for that. And you don't prepare for that by fighting every 4 weeks. That's just
Right.
You're just practice for someone who is preparing for it. So and then out of that, so you have to spend time getting stronger than your competition. And while you're getting stronger in your competition, building your technique. So you're just a technician like GSP. I don't even know if he's still relevant.
Yeah.
Like GSP, he just goes in there. One of the greatest UFC fights I've ever seen was years ago. It was GSP and Hardy.
Dan Hardy.
Dan Hardy.
Did you see that
Yeah.
fight?
Yeah.
GSP stopped from ending that man's career like 4 times. Like he had him in like. Because Dan Hardy's like, oh, I'm a tough guy and I'm never going to tap. I'm like, you could see like his elbows and his hips and like ready to come out. And like GSP was like, I'm not a dick. I'm not going to ruin your career, but I'd really appreciate it. If you
I
would."
tap.
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah.
go to work on Monday.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't afford to be.
Dan Hardy was not prepared to fight GSP. GSP was stronger than him. GSP was a more technically defined athlete than him across the board. So out of that, so you always want to go into the ring ready for that. And if you're continuously fighting, you can't. I mean, obviously, you can continuously do like technique and work on it, like that kind of stuff with all the different, depending on what divisions and kind of what like types of martial arts you're specialized in.
Right.
But you're obviously working on that technique, but you need a break and you need time to get strong, and then you need time to take that force that you've developed and turn it into speed. And then when you do that, you've really turned yourself into a force to be reckoned with. And that's kind of the boat that a lot of people miss, especially in combat sports. It's I said to one of my clients today, our training wasn't hard enough. He wasn't sweating it. He wasn't sweaty and out of breath enough. We're just not doing that right now. And I looked at him. I'm like, we can go get like a blanket and go to the park in the annex, like lay in the sun, and we'd be like sweaty as crap in like 20 minutes because it's hot out. Like, does that mean it's productive? No, we're just sweaty. So
Right.
at the end of the day, when you're building a program, especially for a competitive athlete, not like your general fitness enthusiast, do whatever's fun, because you're not. But for people like us who are athletes, when you're building a program and you're looking down the road and you're looking like for me when I'm going to do a strongman event, and I'm going to compete, or you're looking at you and like when you're going to fight, you want that all planned out so everything falls in place. So when you get to the day that it's time to win, that you're fully prepared to win. And a lot of what I see is a lot of people are more obsessed with being tired.
We have a comment that says your mic is too low,
My mic is too
and they
loud.
must not be able to hear
I
you
don't
very
know.
well.
How am I doing now?
And that's a lot. Yeah, that's.
Soulful sounds. Right.
Is it that mic? Do you think that mic's
I
a
don't
piece
know.
of shit? I don't know.
Thank you,
either.
Rochelle. We appreciate that.
I'm the only one with an orange spit guard.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, hey, while we got a second because we got about 5 minutes, I definitely want to thank Courtney Lewis and Kate Gabus with the Paper City Company that gave us that shirt last Tuesday.
Yeah, who won?
Jake Thomas won that, National Guardman, and also manager out at Coffee Craze and Rays. We got some pictures of it, just haven't posted it yet, but we appreciate them coming in and giving us that shirt to give away. That was nice of them.
So we got like 5 minutes. Down for
Yeah.
my shameless plug. All right, everyone out there, I've been talking about everything. I haven't been talking about my gym at all. If you would like to, you can visit us at www.primaltrainingstudio.com. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at PTS4Strength. That's PTS, the number 4, Strength. So check that out. If you're in the Chillicothe area, we specialize in getting you bigger and stronger and faster, and that's what we do. So, but anyways.
You been training anybody for these? Like, I know it's a big thing right now, all these crazy races, like the zombie run and the
mutters.
the tough mutters, and the ninja challenge.
I recently was quoted, and so I just claimed it online for saying that the reason that they call it a 5K, because at the end of the day, they're just trying to church up the fact that it's 3 miles. Every person standing on this side, and I'll say that, and here comes the internets to yell at me. I'm sure you'll blow up my Twitter. But every single person on this side of the dirt should be able to make it 3 miles, regardless of hills, poles, electrodes,
Running or
dirt holes.
are you counting walking?
I don't give a crap. You should be able to,
Man,
like,
I don't know if I can run 3
the
miles.
fact that you should just be able to go at 5, you should just be able to do 3 miles. Like, no one runs those whole things. It's ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's fun if that's your thing, and it's like for like I think they're neat for charity, and they're like a good
Yeah.
way to like raise awareness for like causes and that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're training,
It's just to win a shirt and drink beer in a
yes,
field is what
if
it's
you're
for.
training for the Tough Mudder, you are far gone. Like if you just like. You should just be able to sign up for that and be like, we'll see how this goes.
That's 10 miles. Tough Mudder's 10
that
miles.
10 miles? Okay, this must be the longer
The
one.
Ninja
Ninja mud jump and
or
they've got,
Mud
like,
Ninja. That's 5K.
back hollow mud holler.
I'm doing that in
roll
July.
thing.
I'm doing the Mud Ninja
I don't know. It's one of those
with
things.
the Combat Fit team.
But God, I heard the worst story about one of those things, and they're all going to be so mad at me. But what's the one they have around here? The
Warrior Dash.
Warrior Dash.
I've heard a couple of.
There were several people at a Warrior Dash here that got MRSA like crazy from the Warrior Dash course.
Was it the water?
I don't know.
I don't know which one it is, and I don't want to get sued, so I'm not going to name any names. But there was this one, they did it in a cow field, and the water had cow shit in it. So, I mean, people got deathly ill after they, like, a lot of people got sick from that.
And then they've got the ones where they like spray the paint all over you and crap like that. I mean,
One I wasn't too sure about was the where they shock you going through the water. That can't be good for your heart, man, to take a jolt.
this is a wonderful, really way for me to go out because we're coming to the end of this thing. But the reason that people hate me and the general fitness is like we're like celebrating mediocrity. It's like it's 3 miles. Just because I like throw paint on you, or like you got to climb up a rope ladder, or like
You got to dodge zombies before they get your flag.
or you got to like run through like the MRSA cow patty field. Like it's 3 miles. Like it doesn't. It's
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. But instead of being like, all right, well, we'd like to see you accomplish something, and if you're a runner, like run farther, keep running the same distance, but run it faster. Don't just go like, oh, I can run 2 miles. Oh, I can run 3 miles. Oh, I can run 4 miles, 5 miles.
Right.
And before you know it, you're like Forrest Gump, and you're like halfway to like Boston.
They say when you do it, if you go running, go by time, not distance.
Yeah, so like try to like be faster. Try to be better at running. If you're lifting in it, because my gym is a very special environment because everyone is PRing and everyone is accomplishing things, and everyone. I don't care if you're a beginner. I don't care if you're an advanced, if you're a pro. It is built so we are always accomplishing things. So you're getting better. You're always, if your goal is to get skinnier, you're getting skinnier. If your goal is to get stronger, you're getting stronger. No matter what your goal is, we're accomplishing it. So if you're like Johnny Weightlifter or like Susie Weightlifter or whatever, and you're like here locally, you're at like one of the local gyms or something like that, be PRing. Like tomorrow, go to the gym and find out what your 5-rep max is on squat. And in 8 weeks, it better be more. If not, you've just wasted 8 weeks of your life.
Right.
But with all these ridiculous 5Ks, instead of being like, oh, it's 3 miles, it's not that big of a deal, we now like, but there's ninjas. It's a 5K, but with mud zombies. But you got to climb a rope ladder. Everyone could climb a rope ladder in 3rd grade. What the hell happened? Everyone. There's not a 3rd grader in the continental United States sitting on the ground at the bottom of a rope ladder crying his eyes out because he's never been able to do it.
Right.
We could all do it, but somehow along the way, like, we stopped climbing the rope ladder, we stopped going outside, we stopped being productive members of society, and we just call each other names on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. And like, we're like, but I'm doing a 3 mile. This time they're going to throw paint in my face.
No, a 5K.
5K with paint and dye.
Paint might go in my eyeball.
Yeah. I did the one with water everywhere, so now I'm really going to push the limits. I'm going to do the one with cattle prods.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same. You're not any better. You're just being terrorized in a completely different way. So I don't know. So that's why if you want to get better, call me. I'll make you better. If you don't,
Primal Training Studio.
Yes. And we're also on the Facebooks too. We're on the Primal Training Studio.
On the internet
All
machine.
the social
the
medias.
internets. We're on the Google too, on the Google Plus, but nobody uses that. That's like I don't know. That's like it's like
Yeah,
I like it. It's like being in the country. Only my friends are on it. Like I'm just talking to my friends.
Right.
I don't like comment. I'm like, what? Someone from Bombay thinks I'm stupid? Like it's not like that. So
Primal Training Studios, Chillicothe, Ohio. And ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Minney will do it for you.
that's right.
Whatever you need.
We'll get it done. We'll make you stronger. We'll have a good time doing it. It's 250 Park Street, 740-701-6437. But give us a
Okay,
call.
which one is Park Street? Because there's a Park Street and a Park Avenue, and
It's right by Yoctangi by the Y.
It's Park Street. It's by the
Okay.
Y. It's like we
All
can
right.
see the Y.
yeah, all right,
It's one
Right
of those-
beside Summers.
right there in the back, right there, right.
Yeah, we can actually see the Y from my gym, and that's one of the things that I threaten my clients with. When they're screwing around, they don't know what they're doing. I'll just point because we got a big.
Go to the
wall.
Y.
Go to the
Yeah,
Y.
Point at the Y. I'm like, if you want to waste your time, there's a YMCA that you could fall out of here and hit, and you can spend $20 a month and do jack shit for however long time you want to do it.
Right.
But it's one of those things. We expect a lot. It's a really good environment. It's teaching. I know I sound like it's all hardcore. I'm gonna make everyone cry, but we have a lot of fun. We just expect people to accomplish things. I mean, it goes back to probably running your time way over,
No,
but
it's-
doesn't matter.
good.
All right.
No.
So, but goes back to you guys. You go to Mike's. Mike's is kind of like a special place. Mike's has do you
Mike's
train at
has leaky
No.
roofs, dirty
Mike's-
floors.
People don't
I
realize.
don't go to Mike's as much.
Oh, people don't realize like the history at Mike's.
But I'm right by there. It's been there since 1984.
It's like Mike's was started by Tina. When Tina was like the first woman to bench press 300% of her body weight,
Yeah.
which is freaking fantastic.
I've
That's
seen her up
amazing.
there, Arnold, killing body weight reps.
Yeah, she's still like Tina's awesome. She's great, but Tina was training up at Westside, and from my understanding, from all the stories that have been passed down to me from other weightlifters, that she needed a place to train, so she started Mike's, and I don't know what it was called back then. It was her and another guy.
It was
And-
Mike.
Was it Mike? I thought
Yeah.
It was someone else. But anyways, and so they
pretty
started it,
certain.
and she sold out her end and went and did her own thing because she hit that point where she did as much as she wanted to with her powerlifting career and just wanted to accomplish other things. But so Mike's is kind of a special place in that it's always been a powerlifting gym, always, forever and ever. We're
Right.
Primal. We're a strongman gym. We use powerlifting lifts to get you there, but as soon as you get there, we go into the strongman hardcore. But you go to these places, so I wouldn't say Tina's or Tina's God. I wouldn't say Mike's because Mike's always kind of they like that they're hardcore there. But you go to like some place around here with like a bajillion treadmills. And, like I don't know, do you go anywhere?
Mike's.
You go do they have like there's a person there who has been running on a treadmill since you've started. Since there's
The
you don't have-
ladies
you don't have to
come
say
in
her
the
name. We don't-
morning,
We
hit
don't
the
need
bike.
to. Yeah, we don't need to embarrass anyone.
Watch
but there's,
TV
like,
and
that one cardio monster that has been like for as long as you can remember. They have been there, and they haven't changed a bit. Like they're unhappy with themselves. They haven't done anything, and so it kind of where the gym, where the whole theory behind Primal Training Studios came from was when I was in college. I was working. Part of my undergraduate was I had to help run a D1 weight facility, so I'm helping do that. And at the same time, I've got to feed myself, and I'm too smart to work at McDonald's. So I was training at a 24-hour fitness. I was training at 24-hour fitness there, and I noticed two things. The athletes come in, they hate training. They want to play sports. They're not weightlifters. They're lacrosse players and softball players and basketball. They come in and they want to play sports. And so they come in and they're you got to lift weights and and some of them they screw around the entire time. They don't want to be there. But the point is they get stronger and they go win national titles. Then I go to my night job at Anytime Fitness. And please don't sue me. Anytime Fitness was a great place. This is just how the general public is. What happened at Anytime Fitness was the people, they had no damn idea what they were doing. Like, everyone comes in, they're like, yeah, and they sign up, and they try to, like, lift they'll try to use a machine or, like, a bar or a dumbbell. They'll try to do something for, like, 20 minutes. And then they'll feel totally stupid. They'll get completely frustrated.
Probably benching or curling.
Something. And they quit, and then they're like, cardio machine.
Yeah.
And they go to the cardio machine.
My savior, I know
Yes.
you.
I can walk. I'm good at this.
You will push me on 3.
Yeah, and they do that, and they accomplish nothing. And they don't not accomplish it because they meant well. Like, they were there, and they had every intention in the world. These good people are there, and they're like, yeah, we want to do it. But then they get there, and it's like your taxes. If you try to do your taxes, you owe the federal government like $500. If you pony up like $150 and you take it to an accountant, you'll get like $8,000 back because your accountant knows what's up.
Right.
So that's what was happening that I was seeing. I was like a weightlifting accountant. Athletes come in, I train them, they're awesome, they accomplish things. People go to Anytime Fitness, or they're just your general fitness people, and they're just trying to do their own. They're basically doing their own taxes.
What they read in a magazine,
and it's blown up in their face, and they feel like they're lost, and all that stuff. So, Primal Training Studios started out as a place where people could come, either an athlete, general fitness, people who want to improve their physical condition, whatever it is, and I do all the work for you. You show up, you're ready to go. It's not a fashion show. You can lift in Carhartts as long as you can move. I don't give a crap. So you show up, you lift, and you accomplish something. And you don't have to have this advanced understanding of biomechanics and physiology and all these different things that go together that make it happen. And so that's
right.
kind of
that's what you do.
That's my job. That's what I do. So yeah, we're not a $20 a month gym, but I'll give your money back if you don't get it. And so,
If you don't feel it's worth it.
yeah. No, it's not if you don't feel it's worth it. If you don't get success, sometimes success hurts. sometimes success is miserable.
No pain, no gain.
I hate that. No pain. That's not
No,
true. Sometimes you show up and you get your numbers and it's easy. Other times you show up and it's less than.
I look at it as you just have to push yourself to get to a point.
Yeah, it's one of those things that no one.
Nothing rhymes that makes it sound like that, but pain and gain.
Pain and gain. Isn't that the new movie?
Yeah,
Pain and
The
Gain?
Rock.
Yeah.
Is it
Mark
just me,
Wahlberg.
or is that Tango and Cash? Because it looks like Tango and Cash, but it's just one of those things that you have to put the time in. You have to do the work, and you have to put the time in if you want to accomplish something. But if you're going about it all the wrong way, that sucks. And especially if you don't understand, and you don't have anyone there to show you. I mean,
Right.
Most public gyms are a robbery. You pay someone like $25 an hour to and it's like, what is that?
I've heard a lot of stories about that, and they do that, and then the person is like sitting around, like while they're on their phone while they're go curl 25 times on the Facebook.
Yeah, it's
Twitter.
like you're paying by the hour. I mean, it would be like going back to the taxes thing. It'd be like if we started like a public accounting firm instead of like a public gym. We started this a public accounting firm, and we had like Quicken and computers and calculators and paper like running out and all that kind of stuff. We had like a big stack of tax law books, and for $20 a month, you can come in there and do your taxes. But tell you what, for $25 an hour, we'll provide you with a registered CPA who will kind of help you. It's like, you'd be like,
Kinda.
that'd be the worst business model ever.
Right.
No one would be like, screw that. I'm just going to go over to this accounting firm. And I'm going to give them my stuff, and they're going to give me my money back. So it's kind of like that, and so that was the business model that I built Primal Training Studio off. Is it's not you come in, you tell me what you want, and I make it happen. And there's no, and if you don't like it, then you can quit.
Go to the Y.
Right. Go to the Y. The Y is within a stone's throw.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
what's that big stone?
it's with a Husafel stone.
Yeah, the Husafel.
Husafel stone carry away.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we do all the fun stuff. And plus, it's more fun. Strongman training that's why CrossFit picked it up. CrossFit has picked up a lot of the strongman implements, and the reason they have is because it's fun. It's a good time. I mean, it's. You talk to any powerlifter who's a high performing powerlifting, they're like, powerlifting is the most boring thing on the planet. Because I mean, it's like unless you're doing a really well designed conjugate training sequence,
It's not creative. What you're doing isn't
you're
creative, right?
benching,
Squatting,
you're
deadlifting.
you're deadlifting, and you're doing variants of those exercises to improve them. But at the end of the day, it's those. And you have a max every day. You have a dynamic because you have to be fast. You got 4 seconds to pull that lift off, and then physiologically you shut down. So you have to be fast. You've got like a max every day. You've got a speed day, and then out of that, and then you're just kind of like, and it's kind of, and so people fizzle out on that. That's what when I was crossing that line of strength sports, and I was like, do I want to do strongman? Or I want to do powerlifting. The defining moment was one day I was bench pressing, and I got done with my bench press program for the day, for my training for the day, and I was walking out of the gym, and this was before I had my own gym, and in my brain I was thinking, if I ever have to bench press again, I'm gonna blow my brains out. And I was like, and then I found out about strongman and that kind of stuff. And so strongman, we've got this vast variety of things. We have you got log bar.
You can
clean
press
press.
the log.
We got a log, which is awesome. You could use barbell if you want. We have an axle, which is a 2-inch thick bar. We use that. Those are pressing things. We've got stones. We've got Atlas stones, which you can pick up and carry for distance. You can throw them over a bar. You can put them on your shoulder. We got the big Husafel stones. You can carry those. You can do all that. We have regular deadlift. You go to contests, you might see a regular deadlift for reps. You might see an axle deadlift for reps from a 9-inch bar. You might show there might be a car deadlift there, where you're looking at where you're picking up a car for reps on a plat. It's on a thing, so you actually have handles. You're not holding onto the car. But you're looking at all this. There's all these different options and all these different variables. So even within training, you really have to keep cycling. I once read that Louis said that training to be a strongman athlete is a perfect example of accidental conjugate training, because we have so many events, and if you're one-sided, like let's say you're just really good at log and farmer's walk and nothing else. You have a meet that doesn't have those, you're totally screwed.
Right.
So we have to continuously rotate through our lifts, so it's not stagnant and it's not stale, and it's a lot of fun.
Right.
So, that's kind of why I went in the strongman direction. I have all the respect in the world for powerlifters. What they do is incredible, but it's just it was just more. I felt like I love strongman more, so that's what I did.
It's more variety. It's the difference between like boxing and MMA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many more options.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I hate that because I love boxing, but yeah, with MMA, I mean, you can stand there and go toe to toe with someone.
There's just more options to win or get finished. It just throws more on the plate.
And then there's actually looking how MMA is before it was. I mean, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but before it was just silly. Like at the beginning, it was like silly, and like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu just beat the crap out of everyone.
Yeah, in the beginning it was Hoist Gracie hitting people in the balls and grabbing their hair is what it was.
And it's evolved into all of these different styles of martial arts that actually have become the sport of MMA. So you can pick, like we were talking about earlier before it started, like you can pick up parts of Krav Maga, and you can pick up parts of Judo and parts of Jiu-Jitsu and parts of Thai fighting and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is Judo and Jiu-Jitsu combined together, and like you have all of these different things that you can put together, and you can play to your own strengths and your own weaknesses.
Right. Styles become irrelevant and becomes an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You being the best of your ability as a fighter.
Be like water.
Water.
Like, what does that mean?
Flow.
Be free
Change
flowing.
states at different temperatures. I don't know what that means.
Free form.
When the air gets warm,
Did Bruce Lee
you
become
stay
Did
cool.
he become a gas at like certain temperatures? Can't fight him on his fog. It's too hot here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, crush, kill, and destroy clothing, right? Or is that what it's called?
Yes,
Clothing
that is,
company?
I forgot.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
I suck at plugging myself.
If you want to crush, kill, and destroy.
The Crush Kill Destroy. We started it. It just kind of started out of every single brand in the weightlifting industry is based around a company, and sometimes you just don't want to like advertise for a company. You just want to just be part of your sport.
It sounds very Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, it's kind of the roots of it are pretty. I don't know if I'm ready to tell everyone the roots yet, but the roots are pretty awesome. Great, I'll tell you.
That may be another podcast.
Yeah, we could do that.
That'd
But
be a good one.
crushkilldestroy.biz is the webpage. Right now we have 2 shirts out. We've got the shirt that we developed for the Arnold. We got the Strength Beyond Strength shirt we're getting ready to do. We're getting ready to drop a whole bunch of girls stuff. We got some men's stuff coming along. I'm working with a big and tall distributor because I noticed like within our sport, like everyone's huge. But
Yeah.
you can't buy any shirts over 2X. That doesn't make any sense.
It's a belly
I'm like,
shirt.
I'm like, what is that? I'm like, everyone's got like a hockey jersey on.
Your navel is
So-
showing. Come on, dude. Step it up.
We are working on a line for the 3X to 5X.
Yeah.
It's for the big guys, and I have a couple pros who have talked to me who have expressed an interest in representing us. So check that out. It's just no agenda. It's just about being awesome. You can wrestle.
Boy,
and fight
I
in
know.
your Crush
I've
Kill
got
Destroy
experience
shirt.
with being
Yeah.
You
awesome.
can go.
Crush, kill,
You
destroy.
can walk around and give people a hairy eye if you want. You can
If
work
you're
out.
on
Whatever you
a
wanna do.
laptop or a computer all day at a desk, you're going to crush, kill, and destroy that shit.
right. Crush,
And
kill,
just do your job.
Crush Kill Destroy some macros.
Yeah.
I don't know
Some
if you
gigabytes.
can do that. Teratrons.
But, all right, we're gonna end this thing right now.
We must
Thanks
stop.
again, Ryan, for coming on,
Thank you for
it
having
was
me. I really
good.
appreciate it.
and we would definitely like to have you back again
All right, I'd love to.
for sure. All right, y'all. What is today? Tuesday. We'll be back Saturday, 9:30 p.m.
Yep.
Till next time, we're out.
Awesome. Later.
Peace out.